Naina was a 19-year-old girl who loved to travel. She enjoyed seeing new places and meeting new people. One day she had a peak dream to visit London. London was a large city with many famous places. Naina felt very happy thinking about her trip. When Naina was a child, she often looked at maps and read books about faraway cities. London was always her favorite city. These places made her feel very excited. One day Naina talked to her best friend Priya. "I want to visit London," Naina said with a big smile. "It is an amazing city with a lot of history and culture." And smiled back at her and said, "You should go, Naina. You are young and you love adventure. This is the perfect time to explore the world. You will have many great experiences." She decided to make her dream come true. Naina was a little nervous, but she was also very excited. She was ready for the adventure. Naina spent the next few days thinking about her trip. She imagined herself in London, standing in front of Buckingham Palace, exploring the British Museum and walking in Hyde Park. She knew planning a trip would take a lot of work, but she was ready for the challenge. Naina's parents were very supportive. They knew she loved to travel and explore new places. They encouraged her to be careful and to make the most of her journey. Naina promised them she would plan well and stay safe. With her parents' support, Naina felt very excited. She could not wait to start planning her trip to London. This would be her first solo trip, and she wanted it to be perfect. She knew this journey would help her grow as a person. Naina sat down with her laptop and a notebook. She was ready to start planning. She made a list of things to do. First, she needed to research London. Then, she needed to decide on the places she wanted to visit. Next, she needed to book her flight and hotel. Finally, she needed to prepare her documents. There was so much to do. Naina planned her day is in London. She made schedule. On the first day, she would visit Big Ben and the Tower Bridge. On the second day, she would go to Buckingham Palace and Hyde Park. She also plans to visit the British Museum. Naina wanted to make sure she had time to see everything. Now, Naina needed a place to stay. She wanted a safe and comfortable place that was not too expensive. She read many reviews and looked at pictures of hotels and hostels. Finally, she found a nice hostel in central London. Naina checked her passport to make sure it was valid. She did not need a visa for a short stay in the UK. She made copies of her passport flight tickets and hostel booking just in case. She also made a budget for her trip. She needed money for the hostel, food, transportation, and sightseeing. Naina saved money from her part-time job. She did not want to carry too much cash, so she got a travel card that she could use like a debit card in London. Naina also wanted to stay in touch with her family and friends. She found out the international roaming for her phone was expensive, so she decided to buy a local SIM card in London. This way she could use the internet and make calls without spending too much money. Naina also read about the culture and customs in London. She learned about British manners and some common phrases. She wanted to be polite and fit in. She even practiced saying some British English words. The night before her trip, Sarah was very busy. She made sure everything was ready. She double-checked her packing list. She packed her clothes, toiletries, and documents. She put her bags by the door, so she would not forget them in the morning. The next morning Naina woke up early. She got dressed and had a quick breakfast. She grabbed her bags and headed to the airport. Her parents drove her to the airport and helped her with her bags. They hugged her and wished her a great trip. The flight was long, but Naina kept herself busy. She read her book, listened to music and watched a movie. As the plane began to descend, Nina looked out the window. She could see the city of London below. Her heart raced with excitement. She couldn't believe she was finally here. She was finally in London. She ready to start her adventure. Nina took a taxi to her hostel. The city looked amazing from the window. She saw many famous landmarks on the way. When she arrived at the hostel, she checked in and found her room. It was small but cozy. She met her roommates who were also travelers. They were friendly and shared their travel stories. Nina felt comfortable and excited to make new friends. On her first day in London, Nina woke up early. She was full of excitement. She got dressed and had breakfast at the hostel. She talked to some other travelers and got tips on where to go and want to see. Nina decided to start her day by visiting Big Ben. She walked to the nearest bus stop and took a bus. She enjoyed the ride and looked at the city through the window. When she arrived, she saw the big clock tower. It was even more impressive in person. Next, Nina walked to the Tower Bridge. She took many pictures and enjoyed the beautiful view. The bridge was very famous, and Nina felt happy to see it with her own eyes. After that, Nina went to Buckingham Palace. She saw the guards in their ready uniforms and black hats. She watched the changing of the guard ceremony. It was very interesting and fun to see. Nina decided to visit Hyde Park. She walked around the park enjoying the fresh air and the beautiful scenery. She sat on a bench and watched people walking, jogging and playing with their dogs. It was a relaxing and peaceful place for lunch. Nina went to a nearby cafe. She tried a traditional British dish called fish and chips. It was very tasty. She also had a cup of tea. Nina liked trying new foods and learning about the local cuisine. After lunch, Nina visited the British Museum. She saw many interesting exhibits and learned a lot about history. The museum was very big, and she spent a few hours exploring it. In the evening, Nina returned to her hostel. She was tired but very happy. She talked to her roommates about her day. They shared their own experiences and gave her more tips for her trip. Nina went to bed early. She wanted to be well rested for the next day. She felt very happy and excited about her adventures in London. The next day, Nina decided to explore more of central London. She woke up early and had breakfast at the hostel. She planned her day and set out with excitement. Her first stop was the London Eye. Nina bought a ticket and got on the big Ferris wheel. As it went up, she could see the whole city. The view from the top was amazing. She took many pictures to remember this moment. For lunch, Nina went to Covent Garden. It was a busy place with many shops and cafes. She found a nice cafe and had a sandwich and a cup of coffee. She also watched some street performers. They were very talented and entertaining. Nina returned to her hostel, feeling tired but happy. She had seen and done so much in one day. She talked to her roommates about her adventures. They shared their own stories and gave her more ideas for the next days. The next day, Nina decided to try more British food and do some shopping. She started her day with a traditional English breakfast at a local cafe. It had eggs, bacon, sausages, beans and toast. It was very filling and tasty. After breakfast, Nina went to Camden Market. It was a busy and colourful place with many stalls selling clothes, jewellery and food. She enjoyed walking around and looking at all the unique items. She bought some souvenirs and a new dress. Nina then visited Borough Market. It was a food market with many different kinds of food from around the world. She tried some samples and bought a sandwich for lunch. She also had a fresh fruit juice. The food was very delicious. In the afternoon, Naina went to Oxford Street. It was a famous shopping street with many big stores. She walked along the street and did some shopping. She bought clothes, shoes, and some gifts for her family and friends. She enjoyed the busy and lively atmosphere for dinner. She wanted to try more traditional British food. She ordered a dish called shepherd's pie. It was very tasty. She also had a dessert called sticky toffee pudding. It was sweet and delicious. After dinner, Ciro walked back to her hostel. She was very happy with her day. She had tried many new foods and done a lot of shopping. The next day, Sarah decided to meet new people and make friends. She started her day with breakfast at the hostel. She talked to some other travelers and learned about their plans. Naina decided to join a walking tour of the city. It was a group tour with a guide. She met many other travelers on the tour. They were from different countries and spoke different languages. Naina enjoyed talking to them and learning about their cultures. The tour guide took them to many famous places. They visited the Tower of London. The guide told them many interesting stories and facts about the city. Naina enjoyed the tour and learned a lot. After the tour, Naina and some of the other travelers decided to have lunch together. They went to a nearby cafe and talked about their travels. Naina made new friends and exchanged contact information with them. She was happy to meet people who loved traveling as much as she did. In the evening, Naina went to a social event at the hostel. They had a movie night. Naina watched a movie with other travelers and talked to them about their travels. She made more new friends and enjoyed the evening.